have your K-factor score. What does that mean? What does it tell you about your potential to be influential? Is it something you can change? Does it mean you're doomed? What do you do next? Hi, I'm Dr. Keller. These are all good questions. It's important to note that the Keller Influence Indicator, or the K2, has a different purpose than an instrument that measures preferences or styles, interests, or personality. The K2 is an instrument or assessment tool that gives you the degree of your capacity in these 7 traits: confidence, commitment, courage, passion, empowering, trustworthiness, and likability. It gives you a score of how high or low your capacity is toward these 7 traits. These other instruments that I just mentioned give you results that are non-negotiable, or they don't change like a style or your preference. They give you information that is factual, but doesn't tell you what or does not need improvement. Take, for instance, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. This is an instrument that measures a person's preferences toward life in 4 areas. You are either an introvert, extrovert, or sensing, intuitive, thinking or feeling, and judging or perceiving. There are no right or wrong answers or good or bad ways of being. It's all good. But the K2 does give you, based on your responses, the current level of your capacity regarding these 7 influence traits. For example, having a low confidence score isn't a good thing. Why? Because confidence is an essential component of success, of being influential. Likewise, having a high trustworthiness score means you are well on your way to being influential and successful. Regardless of each trait, your score for each trait can change. You have the power to improve it. You are the one in control of increasing your confidence or your trustworthiness. Now, I want to explain what the K-factor means. The K-factor is a score that represents the total measure of your potential to be influential. That score encompasses all of the 7 traits necessary for being influential. The K2 has been widely tested and is rapidly becoming the tool of choice among people who want to increase their influence. The K-factor is a measure of the degree to which you are leveraging all of your influence traits. Your K-factor score falls within a range between 0 and 100. The higher your K-factor, the more well-developed your influence traits, and thereby increasing your potential to be influential. With your K-factor, you now have a benchmark that lets you track your progress over time. You see, unlike other tools that measure personality characteristics or style preferences, as I mentioned earlier, which don't change, the K2 shows you how much of your influence capacity you're really using. And you can always increase your influence potential. You'll also learn in your K2 report how well developed each of your influence traits are in comparison to the general population. Your K2 report shows you where to focus, where to spend your time and your energy. What is it that is most important for you to work on to increase your chances at being influential? Now, one thing that is important to understand is this. The score you have does not tell you if you have influence. It is a score of your potential to be influential. To illustrate this, let's say a person has a K-factor of 83 and another person has a K-factor of 95. You cannot assume that the person with the 95 is more influential than the person with an 83. Why? Well, let's say the person with the 95, remember, this is a measure of their potential to be influential. But anyway, let's say the person with the 95 decides not to exercise or maximize their potential. They're shy, or they're unaware, or they prefer to remain content with what they have. Well, they won't have much influence due to their own decisions and lack of action. On the other hand, the person with the 83 K-factor may have lots of influence. Now, how can that be? because that person decides to exercise or maximize their influence and their potential. They act on what potential they have. So here we are. The K factor tells you what is possible, and the rest is up to you. What I would say to the person with a K factor of 95 who doesn't have influence is this: what action or lack of action is preventing you from getting more of what you want? What might you be afraid of? Or could your K factor score be high because you didn't want to look bad? And what I tell the person with an 83 K factor who is highly motivated is this: if you think you are influencing now, just imagine what will happen when you identify and start leveraging all 7 traits even more than you do right now. So let's say the person with a 95 K factor is highly motivated but still doesn't quite have the influence that they want. What he or she needs to do is explore further, knowing they have the potential for influence, and figure out what they're doing wrong. What's missing? What opportunities are they missing? Basically, they have the potential, but they don't know where to start to use it and use it effectively. That's where our K2 workbooks will help. They help you create a plan of action and a method to execute that plan. So our 95 K factor person may need to shift his or her mindset or reframe his thinking or feeling about certain abilities that he or she has. If you're surprised by your score, it's lower than you thought it would be, don't despair. You can significantly raise your K factor if you make the decision to invest your time and energy into what needs improving. This is the person who asks, how can I improve my potential influence? What is it that is holding me back or causing a barrier, either consciously or subconsciously? Where or what should I begin working on? These are good questions to ask and better questions to answer for every score. If you scored in the extreme lower range, then it's important for you to decide where you want to put your focus. How can you turn your focus toward being influential? What distractions do you need to avoid? And what is it you need to pay attention to so you can start understanding the value of influence in your life? What it comes down to is your actual influence will vary depending on how much you maximize your potential. And the K2 measures your potential, showing you where you are strong and where you are challenged. The important thing about the K2 is it identifies and benchmarks where to begin and what needs attention. Knowing your K factor helps you create a plan to strengthen the influence traits that need it and learn how to better tap into the traits you possess that are already very strong. In summary, your K2 report and K factor score provide insight into what you can do to become more influential in all areas of your life, your work, your family, and your community. It opens up challenging and new ways of thinking about your influence. It may even change your perceptions and expectations that you have around influence. You've got your K factor. You see how well you're leveraging each trait compared to the rest of the general population. You've got your in-depth, custom report giving you insights into your blind spots, suggestions for improvement, and a lot of other useful information. Now it's time for you to take action to hone the traits that need some work and to begin leveraging your strong traits even more. If you haven't already, I strongly urge you to download the influence workbooks for the traits you want to focus on. Start with either the one you want to make the most improvement on, or begin with one that interests you. You can do that by clicking the link below or in this video. Oh, and don't forget to sign up for our blog, Influence Shift. That way you'll get the latest information, insights, and support to help you make that shift into being a more influential person. Influence Shift will alert you as we release new offers to help you improve your influence capacity, and this gives you opportunities to take advantage of any pre-release special offers. So welcome to the Keller Influence community.